Ever since I was a jit, I knew I was a winner. I pray to God forgive me cause I'm a born sinner. Got more on my plate than a Thanksgiving dinner. Gotta save for rainy days cause shit do get thinner.
Yo, how we giving it up? Man, it's your boy Jumpout L.O, and you tuned in to Check Your Mental. And today, right? Today I want to talk about an experience that I went through this past week, right? So I had a doctor's appointment on Friday. I had my yearly physical. Because it's good to check yourself and just stay up to date on your body, because if you could detect it quicker, you could fight it, you could battle it. High blood pressure and those things kind of run in my family. My mom has high blood pressure, my dad as well. So I'm doing things to prevent that from being me, because I don't want to live my life taking pills and having to depend on the pill just to lower my blood pressure when there's things that I can do now to prevent that, right? But that wasn't the interesting thing about my physical, right? The interesting thing about this physical, the doctor asked me some questions that no doctor ever asked me before. And it was relating to my mental health, right? And he asked me, have you been feeling hopeless for the last couple weeks? Have you been feeling down and out, like things of that nature, right? And I got real with myself, right? And I was like, you know what, I have been feeling down and out for the last couple weeks, but I told him the reason being is my business slowed down and I'm currently not employed. I was really making a living off my business, but everything slowed down. So that sometimes it messes with my self-esteem, because I feel like I'm not doing enough, and even though I do a lot of volunteer work, I do a lot of work with the community, I feel like there's much more that I could be doing. So when he asked me those questions, have you been feeling hopeless? And I just gave it a thought for a second. I was like, you know what? Sometimes I have. Because, and again, the 24th was my friend's 8-year anniversary. And it reminded me that I've been doing this for 8 years. I've been grinding for 8 years. I've been trying to change my life for 8 years. And although I feel like I already made it, sometimes the financial part of it is not where I would like to be, right? So it messes with my self-esteem. But what that reminded me is that I have to get real with myself and understand that it's okay to feel this way. It's okay to feel down. It's okay to feel these feelings, because you're entitled to your feelings. Those are your feelings, and you're entitled to every bit of one of them, right? And that's what kind of like I learned from this doctor's visit. But he also asked me questions like, have you been feeling suicidal? Do you feel like you don't want, like, life would be better if you weren't here? And honestly, when he asked me that, I was like, you know what? I could be going through whatever, but I don't think that that's the solution to anything, because suicide could be a very selfish decision on my behalf. Me taking my own life or feeling suicidal, it could be very selfish, because you don't know who you're damaging when you take your life. It's not only you that you're hurting. You're leaving a void in your family, your friends, the people that truly love you. And that's kind of like the question that stuck with me when he said, are you suicidal? And I just looked at him like, I gotta ask you these questions. And I said to myself, no, I'm not, right? But imagine somebody that doesn't have the support system, or doesn't have the self-awareness to understand these things, right? Imagine the people that are going through these things alone, and they are feeling suicidal, and they don't have nobody to talk to, and they feel like that's the only solution. I just recently found out that a good friend of mine tried to commit suicide, and that hurt me, because I felt like I failed this person, right? I felt like I failed them. And when I was talking to them and they were just explaining to me like they felt hopeless, they felt down and out, and I'm like, yo, why didn't you call me? Why didn't you reach out? They turned their phone off and just decided that they thought that was the only solution. And I felt so hurt that I couldn't be there for them, right? Thank God that the mission failed, and I'm so grateful that mission failed. But imagine if it wouldn't have. Imagine if it would have went through. That would have left a void in many of us. Because believe it or not, people feel like nobody cares. A lot of people care about you. The thing is that a lot of people got their own lives to live. A lot of people are doing their own thing, and they might not have time to reach out. They might have work. They might have to take care of their kids. They have so many things going on that you think that they don't care. But it simply is that they got their own life to live as well, and you can't be mad at them. But don't just because they don't reach out to you doesn't mean you can't reach out to them. Reach out to them. Call them and let them know, hey man, I'm hurting right now. I don't have a problem pulling up on nobody. You call me, you tell me you're going through a crisis, I'm pulling up on you. And we're gonna talk this out. And a while ago, I didn't even know that my friend was going through this. I just happened to pull up to their house randomly. And just recently, they disclosed to me like, yo man, them days that you pulled up and you kept coming to my house, I was going through it, and you don't know the help that you did for me. I didn't even know that. I was just being a friend. I was literally just being a friend, checking up on a friend. And I don't know, God put that in my heart. I was around the area, and I was like, you know what, yo, hey, I'm in the area, I just wanna check up on you. I did not know that this person was going through X, Y, and Z. I did not know a thing. But I'm like, yo, the way God works, right? God works in mysterious ways. And it was him that put me in that path to help that friend in need, right? So that's what those questions kind of stirred up when I went to the doctor, when he kept asking me all these questions about my mental health, right? And the answers that he gave me is like, it's okay to feel that way. Right? He's like, it's okay for you to feel that way. But once you start working and you start feeling like you're being more productive and you're doing things, you're not gonna have these feelings anymore. And that's the same thing my friend told me. Once they started working and once they started getting back into the tune of things, that depression, that feeling hopelessness, it kind of faded away. But it doesn't go away, but it faded away to the point that they can manage with their day-to-day activities. They could do things again. They could enjoy themselves again. Because sometimes it's even hard for you to enjoy your day, right? It's even hard for you to enjoy the things that brought you joy. For me, recording brings me joy. But imagine when you're losing that passion because you don't see nothing, or you just feel like you're wasting your time, right? But in reality, you're not wasting your time, because every time a person tells you, yo man, I heard your message and it helped me out a lot, then you're not wasting your time. You help one person. I will always continue to repeat this. As long as you help one person and you do justice to one person, you did your deed. You did a great deed. That's God's work, right? God's work is to help those in need, to help those people that need you at the moment when he needs somebody to give them an advice or just an ear to listen to, right? And all this that I'm talking about today came about just from me going to the doctor. He asking me these questions that I had to get real with myself, I had to get real. And I'm like, why is he asking me this? I had never been to the doctor. They never asked me nothing like this before. And I'm like, did he see it in my face? And I look down and out. But no, that was part of the job. I guess it's the new doctor that I went to. I guess that's part of their protocols. And I'm like, okay. But I feel like more doctors should do that and ask people, yo, how are you feeling mentally? How are you internally? What are you going through? Are you happy? Are you feeling sad? Are you feeling hopeless? And sometimes maybe they could send you to the right person to help you, because a lot of people might not have a circle that's very understanding of mental health, because that's very important. I have a pretty strong circle that they're very knowledgeable on mental health. But what happens to the people that don't have that circle of knowledge, of people that know about mental health? They take it as a joke. They look at you sad and, oh man, no bro, you're gonna be alright. What if that person just need a voice? So you have to be around people that are a little bit knowledgeable of mental health, because if you're around people that aren't, they're very tough-skinned people, and they're gonna just brush you off and tell you, oh, you're gonna be all right. And some people really need somebody to understand and listen and comprehend and give them a good words of encouragement, just so they can keep going and keep striving for another day, right? Because me personally, I'm the type of person that I'm not doctor knowledgeable, but I have experience of self, and experience of self is enough to help others, because I know what I've been through, and I know what I can tell somebody that can help them, that helped me. And I'm not saying all the things that help me might help somebody else, but hey, it could be a start. And I'm very sensitive into what you tell me. I take things into consideration, and I don't judge. I come with a a non-judgmental way. I'm here to listen to you. Sometimes I don't even say a word. Sometimes I just sit there and listen to them, let the person vent, and let the person tell me how they're feeling. Because sometimes people just want to let it out. They don't know who to talk to. They don't know who to trust because they might have said something to somebody else and they made a joke about it. Or they might have said something to somebody else and they spread rumors and spread it to everybody else and try to make them seem like that person is quote unquote crazy. And in reality, that person was just going through something and you took it upon yourself to judge that person when all they needed was you and your advice and your love and comprehension, right? So sometimes, like I said before, sometimes you might not be as lucky as me to have a circle of friends that are very knowledgeable in mental health. So when you don't have that, and then the doctor asks you these questions, they can set you up with the right people to talk to you. And, you might go through counseling, you know what I mean? And they might, and it might help you. Counseling isn't for everybody, let me also say that. But it might help you. Don't knock it until you try it, you know what I mean? Don't give up on it. Like I said, I always speak on this. I was blessed enough to go through somebody that looked like me and went through the same things that I went through and they're very relatable. I was fortunate enough to have that, right? Sometimes I feel like freaking being the person that becomes a therapist just so I can help others through the journey. But I'm like, man, it takes so long. But who knows? Maybe one day I will become that. But I'm just here to tell you guys to take care of your mental health, right? Don't ignore the signs. Don't ignore your feelings. Don't ignore how you feel, right? Because at any given moment, you could fall into a slump. You could fall into a deep depression that you don't understand why, right? And like I said, this episode came about the questions that were asked when I went to the doctor, right? Am I all right? Am I okay? Am I feeling hopeless? And am I feeling suicidal? Thank God I'm not feeling suicidal. I was feeling a bit hopeless because things weren't going the way I would want them to. But you know what? Once I left and I started thinking, I said, you know what? Why am I hopeless when I got another day of life? Why am I hopeless when I have everything that I need? I have food in the fridge. I have enough money to pay my bills. I manage on a month-to-month basis. I always have enough to survive. So it's like, why not be grateful? You know what I mean? Why not be grateful for all that I have instead of always wanting more and focusing so much on the future that I forget about the present moment. And at the present moment, I'm doing okay. I'm blessed at the present moment. I have all I need to survive at the present moment. So why think so much about the future that you spoil your present moment? Stay in the present moment. And at the present moment, things are fine, right? And I'm gonna end up with that. This episode was kind of all over the place. It was a freestyle episode because I just wanted to speak from the heart. I wanted to speak from my experiences, and I wanted to speak from the things that I went through this past week, right? So make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Make sure you share with a friend. Tell a friend to tell a friend that we're trying to make a difference. We're trying to help others become the best version of themselves, right? So you tune in and check your mental. This your boy Jumpout L.O. I'm out.
People hate you when you speak the truth. They hate that shit. And shame on you if you mislead the youth. How you 35 with a missing tooth? You don't feed your kids, but you in the booth.